How did you first get involved with Mary's Place? What was your role?
Yeah, so actually my first role with Mary's Place was as a mom. I had dealt with domestic violence and me and my sons had to leave our home. And so I was introduced to Mary's Place table at a day of caring. And so we actually stayed, in the program for about 3 weeks. And then once I got permanently housed, I came back and wanted to volunteer, and just asked if I could help women and moms fill out housing applications, because I remember when I was trying to do that, it just seemed like a full-time job and you just never know where to start. So I just asked if I could do that. And Marty said, sure. She just wanted some references, and a resume and things. And so a couple weeks later, they actually asked me to do housing. So I was helping women find housing, and it was kind of employment too, because you need income. And so about 2 weeks later, after I'm volunteering 20 hours a week, I'm thinking, Christy was like, you forgot paperwork. And really, it was like direct deposits and things. And I was like, you hired me? And they're like, yeah, you didn't know? And I was like, no. So that's really, that's how I got started, was starting the housing program.
And then what was your transition through the organization?
Yeah. So once I started the housing program, um, the organization actually began to grow and it kind of split off, and then we began to do shelter for families. And there was the day center, which we had always had, which the single ladies normally were at. So I decided to stay with the single ladies at the single ladies day center, and was the day center supervisor, director there for some time, after doing the housing program as that grew. Um, just to really, I wanted to work with the single women, helping them get housing and um, just really help them get their lives really on track and begin boundaries groups and things like that. Um, then went through a stint where I ended up taking guardianship of a little girl who I now have adopted. And so I left Mary's Place for a little while and I came back and I ended up working at the shelter in Kenmore and was the day manager there, and then ended up being director over at the North Seattle location, shelter location, was the director over there until COVID hit, and then had to leave due to COVID and things. And so that's kind of was my my, my journey through Mary's Place.
Great. What's your favorite memory of Mary's Place? And I know there's probably more than one. What's a moment, an interaction, an experience that stands out for you?
I think through my whole many years there, one of the times that stands out most is the Shine Gala. I believe it was where Marty got an award, and I was able to present her with that. But it was being able to direct a choir. We had started a choir with the kids, um, and I think it was just so amazing to be able to direct those kids, and they were so excited. We had matching outfits, and it was just great. And I think that was, I think, one of the best experiences with everything. Like I remember that day so much, and them singing, and so yeah.
Yeah. What impact did you see Mary's Place have in the community during the time that you were involved?
Oh, geez. I saw Mary's Place go from a small day center, to growing and having, you know, many shelters across the county, and being able to help women, not just families, going from single women and children, seeing the need for fathers, and single dads, and then, full families together, watching that grow. And also watching, helping women, get their lives back and all of these things. I think that is like one of the best things that I have watched is just watching it grow from small single women to like families, and helping, thousands of families and children stay together and navigate through this crazy thing called homelessness.
Yeah. And you've talked about this a bit, but how are some of the ways you've seen Mary's Place change?
Wow. Well, I say, when I first started, just a few people, I've seen I would say the diversity, the just the passion, I think, in the folks that through the years have came on. And again, it's a testament to Mary's Place and how it is in working with families, how people stay, and want to be a part of this, and want to help families and watch them. And I've watched families for years. Some of the families that I first housed, like a few of them, like one bought a house 2 years ago, some families. And so just being able to be a part of that and seeing those connections, and I think that's one of the biggest things is watched Mary's Place also hire on, folks with lived experience and folks that have been through the program in the past. And I think that is amazing because it's also helped, other families, move forward and say, like, right now is just a stopping place. It's not forever, and you can get back to where you want to be. So I think I've watched that and super appreciative and excited to see that grow in Mary's Place from the beginning.
Yeah. Is there one event or time period that you remember that's particularly important in the history of the organization?
I think I would say there were a couple. The first was when Mary's Place decided to work with families, and give the single women a space for themselves to be able to heal and deal with those things. But also fast forwarding to I say, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, COVID, just watching how Marty and leadership really brought people together and really listened to the issues and some of the injustices that folks had felt, and being able to be transparent and understand that, and work through that, so, and be supportive. So I think those were some of the biggest things. And then the single ladies writing a book, like we had a book that was authored, so I think those were some pretty cool things.
Yeah. Where would you like to see Mary's Place grow to in the future?
I think we need Mary's Places not just, here in King County, but like all over Washington, for real. I want to see it grow like that. Also, maybe doing like purchasing some buildings, and having some like low income housing, I know we don't really do transitional, but those kind of things, just so families aren't in shelter for so long if there isn't, something, and there's income gaps and these things, and just making sure that Mary's Place has access to all of the resources that the families that they serve need. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Zaneta, for sharing all your memories. Is there anything else you want to add for this project before we say goodbye?
No, I mean, like, I am very, very thankful and honored to have been a part of Mary's Place's growing journey, and super excited for the future and where Mary's Place goes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.